This is John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada on yet another field trip, and we're going to check out a new farm that just started about 6 months ago. And here's their sign here, Homegrown Nursery and Produce. And here it is. Here's the property. This is a 3-acre property, and 2.5 of which are dedicated to growing food and starts and plants that you can buy. So hey, let's head over there and check it out. Here's the entrance to the farm, and you can see homegrown tomato plants. The gate is open, stop by. They're currently open basically 7 days a week, 9 to 4, 9 to 2 on the weekends. Let's go inside. I got a tour a little bit earlier, and actually they're very friendly. They got a little sign here. Give us a honk, we'll show you around. So definitely really cool. And there's their super large greenhouse they've been growing in for about 6 months, and they have compost piles and piles of stuff, and they got different areas in the back where they're growing more food. And man, they got a whole bunch of plant starts for sale. First, let's go ahead and show you guys the greenhouse. So let's head into the greenhouse, and this is greenhouse 1, and they'll probably have more in the future. You can see this thing is ginormous. It's huge. They got a nice shade cloth on it now. This previously had the plastic over it in the winter when it was too cold. And that's how they got some tomatoes plants that are even ripening up now. And there's some of the tomatoes right there, like green ones. They're doing a single stem method for the bottom. And then up at the top, they're letting them actually bush out to provide shade for the tomatoes. And this can be very smart here in the Las Vegas climate, because it gets really hot, and the sun can be your best friend, but it could also be your worst enemy. And you can see there they got some tomatoes even and ripening up. The other thing I want to talk about today is actually this unique trellis system. I've never seen a system like this before, but you know what? How this came about was that it was like, hey, we need to stake our tomatoes. What do we have laying around? And they had a lot of extra PVC tubing or PVC pipe from the irrigation that they're putting in. So they just stuck one down in the ground as a stake, and then they got a few connectors up top to connect them together. And connecting the whole system together makes this actually very sturdy and stable, and that's definitely really cool. And they just connected the pieces how they needed to make it happen. Now on these initial beds here, they didn't actually space out the tomatoes quite optimally. Some of them are a little bit close together, but they're still gonna do fine. Another thing that's really cool about this PVC system is, say you want to make it taller, you could put a coupler on here and then just keep going up further. That's really cool. The other thing that's actually really cool about this system is, say you want to water the plant roots, you could just put the hose down in the pipe and water, and it actually will direct the water right down into the plant root zone. So that's definitely a really smart idea, and I'm glad that they're doing it here, and I could share it with you guys. And now it's an option for you guys to use if you guys want to stake your tomatoes with the PVC. Here in this greenhouse, they have several different beds. They have beds running along the edges of the greenhouse, and then also in the middle, and nice walkways there. And this one is growing some herbs. Looks like they have some basil, and they have this sectioned off. So maybe every section, I don't know, 10, 15 feet, they have different things growing. So it looks like in this area they got carrots. In this area they got some amazing looking chard. Looks really good. Here's some sugar snap peas that are having a little bit of a challenges. I guess it got up into the 90s last week here in Vegas. Over here, more tomatoes. Over here, some arugula. I mean, all the greens were grown definitely through the winter and doing really well. Here's some red lettuce. Looks really good and vibrant. Here's a lot of their tomato starts, and we'll talk about the tomato starts and the other starts they have available here in just a little bit. And they have a lot of tomatoes in here and a lot more tomato starts. In addition, they have some strawberries just planted in the ground on mounds, and actually in a little bit we're going to take a look at a cool strawberry planter that they have. And of course there's a nice large artichoke plant here. On this side they're growing in some containers, so yes, if you guys don't have a greenhouse or anything, you could always grow in a container. So you could put like a zucchini plants like they have here. I would put one zucchini plant per big nursery pot. And you can see they even have some zucchinis in there. Let's see, there's some sugar snap peas growing up tomato cage that was put upside down. So that's an excellent way to use a tomato cage to stake your sugar snap peas. And it looks like they have a couple grow bags, and here's just one grow bag right here, and they're growing some soybeans. So that's a crop I haven't seen grow before in Vegas, and they're using another cage to cage that up. Over here they're once again using that PVC trellis system, and they basically made a V. We'll look at that from the top there for you guys. And they're gonna stake up their squash with that trellis. So that's gonna be definitely pretty interesting as it grows taller to see how they're gonna expand that and make that work for them. Here's another one with the tomatoes. I mean, definitely looks really good. Single stemming up to get a nice bush on top, and tomatoes are ripening up. One of the best things growing in the greenhouse is the red Russian kale, and you can see that right here. Here it is. Looks really vibrant and super healthy. Another thing I wanted to cover today was the trellising systems they're using here. So besides the PVC trellising, that's quite new and unique, I haven't seen before. You know, they're using other methods of trellising, such as basically using standard 2x4s sunk into the ground and as basically stakes, and then they basically use some screws to screw in to hold some baling wire to make a nice support here. So yeah, any way you could trellis things up out of whatever materials you have, I mean, it'll work. The standard 2x4 construction grade won't last super long because they'll end up rotting out at the bottom below the part that's in the ground. But you know what? They're going to definitely work for a while. And you can see on this trellis system, they're growing some sugar snap peas, and there's just two of them coming in. There's another part of their herb garden. Looks like they got some basil, some cilantro, and some mints, and some lemon balm growing. Now, you know, I'm going to come back probably in about 6 months or a year, and this chocolate mint that's growing right here in this bed, and check it out, this bed's pretty huge. I will bet you money that that mint will be taking over this whole area. You can see it's already sending out its shoots, and as it sends out its shoots, it's spreading, and also as soon as it comes in contact with the ground, it's rooting out. So you can see there, white little things, that's some roots. This is basically spreading out, rooting, and will basically take over really soon. So for this reason, I don't necessarily recommend planting mint in your raised beds. You know, you might want to contain it a little bit better than this, but hey, you know, more mint the better. So be sure to watch my other videos on planting mint and my tips on how to plant mint so that it doesn't spread or minimizes your chances of spreading. Here's the last example of the PVC staking or trellis system they're using here. This is one that they planned out, you know, fairly well. Some of the first ones were just haphazard. They thought they'd try it and it worked. So then they started putting these in and kind of squaring it off and able to line up where the PVC pipes were being put in. And it looks like a nice system. I mean, PVC is relatively inexpensive, and it looks like it's working to stake up their tomatoes. So behind the greenhouse here, they have more space that they are soon expanding their farm. You can see along the rows here in the back, they just mounted up some soil. They're planting some grapes and some pumpkins, including some unique varieties of heirloom pumpkins that are really cool. Over on this side of the greenhouse, they even have more plant starts. I mean, they have so many plant starts, I don't even know what they're going to do with them all. And over here, they have a few raised beds. So these raised beds are a unique idea. And once again, it's very simple to put in a raised bed. Literally all they had was the desert soil here. They put some wood down to basically frame it off to hold the soil. And they added the soil and they planted. And in this bed, and actually all these beds, I believe they planted radishes. And let's take a look at this. The radishes are growing really well. And in the middle of all the radishes, they put a tire. And you could use a tire also as a small raised bed. They actually just planted one artichoke plant in the middle of the tire. But you could have a garden full of just tires and fill it with compost and grow food. Now I know some of you guys might be thinking, hey John, is it safe to grow in old tires? Well, I'd rather be growing in old tires than eating conventional produce from the store, because at least you're growing it. That being said, I would probably rather, you know, build a raised bed out of wood or bricks or some other material. Besides building raised beds like they have just done over there with the wood, you literally don't even need to build a raised bed. You could just literally mound up the soil like they did here. The soil is mound up approximately 18 inches tall to make a little mound, and then they just started planting it. So what they're growing here are some unique things. This one's actually a white pumpkin, and then here are some different kinds of pumpkins. And one of the things you might notice are the little flags that are like little Home Depot flags on there. And I was like, why you guys got all the flags? Are you like marking the irrigation? They're like, no, check out the back. So you could turn this back over, and then on the back they wrote what each, thing they have planted. So this is a white pumpkin. So you could use the, the Home Depot flags, which you have to buy, or you could get some free Home Depot paint sticks. This is a representative of a paint stick that you could just mark on, and then, write in what you're growing. I think it's very important to mark, and label what you grew so that you'll know at the end of the year, or, when the fruit starts producing, what it is. And they take it a little bit further. Even here they have some heirloom pumpkins, and it says planted 2/28 and transplanted 3/21. If you do put the dates on there, which is a wise thing to do, you'll also know, how long that plant has been growing until it does produce some food for you to eat. So definitely another smart idea that we've learned here today. This is their area where they are growing out some of their tomato plants to grow. Now they anticipate growing some of the tomatoes and selling it to, local restaurants and local people at the farmers market, and selling it direct here from the farm. And you could see here, half this garden here is growing in the soil. So they basically planted tomatoes, I don't know, probably about 2 feet apart, which is a good spacing. And they're just using, once again, some standard 2x2 wood sunk into the ground, and then they basically are using little screws to tie off to. Now this is using screws instead of like drilling holes into the wood, and then they just basically put the baling wire and connected it to each one. As a tomato grows, they tie the stem off to the baling wire to support it so that the tomatoes have a nice upright growth habit. So all this looks really great and amazing over here. But besides planting in the ground, I want you guys to know that you guys don't need to even plant tomatoes in the ground. If you plant the tomatoes in a nice pot and grow them in a good rich mixture, you could just grow them in the pots by themselves. So yes, you can grow tomatoes on your patio or literally anywhere. I'd minimally put them in 5 gallons, if not larger pots, the largest size that you can't afford. And they just got all these guys lined up in rows in pots. And I've seen it grow this way at many farms I've visited. They probably will need to put some better stakes on these guys for production, but it looks really good, and these guys already even have tomatoes on them. Here's a first for this year. I'm gonna finally get a fresh picked tomato. Here it is right here. Because they've been growing these guys so long, they already have yellow pear tomatoes that are ripe and ready to eat. I'll go ahead and pick this guy and pop it in the mouth. Definitely the best tomato I've had all year. It's definitely the freshest picked. And I want to encourage you guys to grow your own food at home. Number one, it tastes better. Number two, you have the pride in growership, which I talked about before in some of my videos. You just feel the pride that you grew and you did something with your own 2 hands so that you can be more sustainable. Another thing I want to mention is that I would encourage you guys to grow at least a few, if not a lot, of cherry tomato varieties. As you can see, the cherry tomatoes, they have lots of fruit still growing on here, and they're already ripening up even before all these large style beefsteak tomatoes. And yes, I probably do have a personal bias. I prefer the cherry tomatoes instead of the larger ones. One of the main reasons why I like the farm here is because they're offering a lot, and I mean a lot, of different plant starts. They mostly have tomatoes with some peppers, some okra, cucumbers and squashes and watermelons and whatnot. But the plants look very healthy and they're pretty affordable prices. Let's check it out. All plants are the same price, just it depends on the pot size. So the 4-inch pots here, any plant is $2.50. Then you move up into the gallon, and the gallons are just $5. And they're actually pretty large and healthy. We're looking here at the Brandywines. They look really good there. Then you can move up into the 5-gallon size. On the 5-gallon size, they're $15. But check it out. These 5-gallon pots already have tomatoes on them already. I would always encourage you guys to buy the biggest plant starts you can afford. I mean, if it's going to break your bank to buy the $15 ones, that's all right. Just get the $2.50 ones, and you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer for your tomatoes. Next, let's take a look at some of the other varieties of plants that they're offering here today. Besides the tomato plants that we just saw, they have many other varieties and types of plants available. So they have the sugar snap peas in the 4-inch and the 1 gallons, and actually those guys in the 1 gallons are now producing. And there you go right there. But I'm not sure how these guys are going to do in the long run. The weather in Vegas this upcoming week are supposed to hit the 90s, and sugar snap peas don't like it when it gets too hot, so I might pass on those guys. But what I would go for are these guys right here. These guys are the peppers. Now, peppers grow well, in my opinion, better than tomatoes here in Vegas. They could tolerate the heat a little bit better. They got some pepperoncinis, and they got the carnival peppers. And let's check out these carnival peppers. These carnival peppers are really weird. Supposedly these carnival peppers, they all have different, kinds of peppers. So on this one, see some purple or black ones, and this one has some little red peppers, and this one over here is kind of like yellow and turning orange on the peppers. And they all look quite healthy, and they've definitely been growing a while to be finally putting on some fruit. Here they got some soybean plants for sale, and some flowers, and some zucchini, summer squash, butternut squash, some cucumbers, and lots of corn, and also some okra. On the okra, that's another thing that really grows well in Vegas here in the hot weather. Doesn't mind the hot weather at all. They got two varieties. They got a standard green variety of okra, and they also have a burgundy okra. I like this guy because it has nice, dark, deep burgundy fruits. As you can see there, they're burgundy there, and also the stems. Next, we're gonna look at this planter here, and this is a strawberry planter. And you might be thinking, hey John, that looks like a 55-gallon plastic drum, and you'd be right. They cut off the top on this and put some holes in the side, and are planting strawberries out of it. They originally were inspired by big PVC tube gardens, with the strawberries growing vertically, but after finding out the price of the PVC, especially the big diameter, it's quite expensive, and this was obtained for much less money. I just basically pop some holes in, fill with some good soil mixture, and grow some strawberries. So it looks like it's doing really well here on the top, and then also on the bottom. And I'd probably grow other things besides strawberries in barrels like this as well. They'd probably do pretty good. So definitely a good idea so that you can grow more food using some plastic barrels. I've actually had a lot of fun here touring the farm and sharing this with you guys. I really like the climate and the environment here in their greenhouse. It's really nice, and they've done it really nice with the rocks in between the pathways and everything. But next, we're gonna go ahead and talk with one of the owners to learn more about the farm here. Now we're with one of the owners, Michelle, and she basically runs this place. She's the green thumbs of this outfit. She made all this happen. It's totally incredible. I just have like one question for Michelle. Why did you start this farm here to grow all this food?
Oh, I started it for a family business so that my kids could be involved in it, and it's something I've always loved to do, and it's something that I can pass down to my kids, and everybody who comes here smiles when they come here, and it's something positive. I was a bartender for years, and it's not a very positive job compared to this, so I'm happy every day when I come here.
Wow, that's great.
It's a good positive thing to do.
So do you get your kids involved with like growing food here, or what do they do around the farm?
They dig, they shovel, they transplant, they plant seeds. They totally understand the whole workings of it. So when they get older, if they ever want to have a garden, they'll be able to do it, and they'll be able to grow fruit. If there's ever a problem with getting food, my kids will be able to grow it, and it's awesome. It's cheap and awesome, and everyone should do it, I think. I've had a garden my whole life, and I think everyone should know how to do it.
Wow, absolutely agree. I think it's great that especially you're getting your kids involved. Not only that you're providing this great resource for, the Las Vegas area by having, all these super plant starts. There's so many here. It's almost as much as a nursery, but you're just a farm here in the middle of Vegas in the residential area.
Yes, we're growing out of concrete here.
Wow.
You can have a garden anywhere, even in an apartment. There's always enough space to have some stuff growing. And I tell that to a lot of people that come here that have no space, that, you can container garden, and there's ways about it to have fresh vegetables in your yard, even if you have a balcony, So I've had a lot of people come and container garden, and I've helped them through it, and I have no problem going and helping them set up the garden, and set up, what seedlings to plant, and teach them what they will fit.
Well, if somebody wants to come here to support you guys and buy some of your plant starts, how do they get a hold of you guys and contact you?
They can call me at 236-9602, or leave a message if I don't answer, because sometimes I'm out here in the garden and I don't have my phone on me. Or you can come to 7777 La Madre Way, and we're open from 9 to 3 every day, and you can come in and look around, and there's always someone here to show you around and answer any questions that you have. You can go to Facebook and type in Nevada Produce Palm and Flower, or our email address is nevadaproducepalmandflower@gmail.com. But it's easier to just call us.
All right.
It's easier to just call us, yeah.
So the last question is, I know you have an overabundance of some tomato starts right now. If somebody came and they say, hey, I saw you guys on Growing Your Greens, would you give them a better deal or hook them up with something?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll give you a buy one, get one free.
Wow, that's an amazing deal. Maybe I'm even going to pick some up today too.
A buy one, get one free.
So if you come here, tell them you saw it at Growing Your Greens, buy one, get one free. That's an amazing deal, and I'd recommend you guys buy the 1 gallons for the buy one, get one free. That's the net price of $2.50 each for 1 gallons, and some of which already have tomatoes on them.
Yes, they do.
So you're not going to find a better deal anywhere in Las Vegas. So I surely hope you guys enjoyed this episode, learning more about this new farm here that I found, and hopefully you guys will come out and support them too. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time, and keep on growing.